Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your guy Silent again, bringing you another video. This video, again, I apologize about the quality of it. My computer's not that great anymore. Anyway, in this video, I wanted to go over stealth tutorial video. I wanted to go over how to install a Messagebox on a stealth, which I promised to cover to my last tutorial, and I forgot. Sorry about that. And then I wanted to go into how to actually connect your 360 RGH to a stealth server. I'm assuming some of you are probably scratching your head and wondering why I'm covering this. It's mainly because I just really seeing a lot of people, for whatever reason, struggling with this, even though there's a lot of videos out there that explain how to connect your jtag and RGH to a stealth server. Well, this video, I'm actually going to go a little bit more in depth than a lot of those videos you see online, just so you can see, we can look at and see what's going on, and we can I can give you some advice on how I found the best way to tell people or to get myself connected to my own server or your server or whatever you use. Okay, so let's get started with the message box. Okay, so this is really simple. I'm going to show you this real quick. Okay, so make sure this is okay. Okay, so for the message box, you want to go to. Alright, you're going to want to find your main CPP, whatever you named your stealth. Like I named mine Silent. You need to find it. And, well, okay, this is easier. You want to find where your initialize is at. Just, if you can't find it in your main CPP, just do a quick search and look for it in all the files. Okay, so down here, initialize. You're going to come down to let me find it here. I forgot where. Okay, you're going to want to find this section of code right here. If server ini equals error success, you're going to want to find this right here. And then you're gonna basically set this up like I had it in what was it, Stealth Server Tutorial 3, where I showed you how to add boxes, message boxes, and give people an option, you know, whether they wanted to enable their mods or not. That's basically how you want to have it set up. So now. Most of the time you're going to find your CPU key check here, but see how I have this set up? Okay, you got x create thread and dash wait thread 0 dash wait thread ID void x API thread startup LP thread start routine, and then dash wait null 02 create suspended. Okay, if you want to have more than one box, okay, or like 2 or 3 boxes, what you need to do is you need to copy and paste this a couple times. Okay, so I copy and paste this, all of it. And then you're going to want to write new code for this new section, which would be your box. All right, but let's go over here and take a look at this real quick. Okay, so this is the dash wait. This pretty much comes with all stealth servers. All right. I mean, it's pretty much self-explanatory. I don't really exactly have to explain too much there, but it comes with all stealth servers. Alright, so just like with the message box and my tutorial 3, okay, you're going to want to have message box result, overlapped result, all of this here. Okay, I might put this in the comments section. Yeah, the what's it called? I can't remember. Not the comments section, but the description. Okay, I might put this in the description section if you want. I might. I'm not sure if I will or not, because you can just pretty much copy this from any source. Anyway, so like it's. I mean, this is pretty much set up the same as a message box as if you were to set it up for adding a game, like I explained in my episode 3, my stall server tutorial 3 about how to add games. You got this here. This I'm giving this 2 options. You can, So when the Xbox starts up, it's gonna pop up the message box and it's gonna have whatever announcements you want on it, and then you can also have options. So this is, for example, this one I've got it set up to enable XE cheats on startup. So if person starts it up and they are like, okay, I want to enable XE cheats for all CODs, they'll enable it and it will run the code to start that up. I mean, it's not really much to say about it, but if you want to just have a message, just show us a message. Just make sure you change this to 1, and then change this to 1, and then you're gonna have to just delete this out like so, and then there you go. That's it. And then enter your message right here between these 2 curly braces. For those of you that don't know, skipped ahead and don't know what the hell I'm talking about, please go back to Stealth Tutorial 3 and watch a section about adding games and menu boxes, because this is basically the same thing. I'm not going to waste my time re-explaining something that I've already explained. So, but I just wanted to show you where this actually went. So when the Xbox starts up, this message box is going to show. But I'm going to try and put these back. But if you want to make 2, like if you want to have like multiple boxes. Okay, first off, I'm sorry, let's back up. I want to show you this too. Okay, so I forgot to mention, very, very important, when you set up your message boxes, okay, you want to make sure that you have a what's it called? A freeze correction, okay? And that's what the sleep is. Okay? Make sure that you have dash while dash loaded sleep. And I believe this is in I set mine to 50,000, but I believe this time is in milliseconds. So, because I noticed, like, when you if you just like if you don't even have this here, and on initial startup, it's gonna, especially if you have a notify that's going on an initial startup, it's gonna cause the 360 to have fatal crash errors. Okay, so to fix that, you want to make sure that you have this here. Make sure that this is above this. So when it goes to run the code, dash wait. Okay, it's gonna go this first. It's gonna go while dash is loaded, sleep for 50,000 milliseconds. Okay, and that will give the dash on your 360 enough time to load up into the dash. You should see the sign-in screen. Actually, that should be more than enough time for them after they click their profile to sign in. Okay, then the message box will show. So then, after 50 milliseconds, then it's going to execute the rest of this code here, however you have it set up. But if you want multiple boxes, all right, you're gonna do what I did down here, and you're just gonna create another ex create thread, all right, and then you can do something like, well, you can do something like dash wait 2 or something like that, and then what you want to do is go to definition, and then just copy it, and then you're gonna want to call this 2. No, not that one. I'm gonna call this one 2. And then after that, then you just fill in all this stuff again that you want for your second message box, whatever you want it to say. You're gonna have to change this. Make sure this is 1. Otherwise, if you have 1, 2, or 3 choices to enable, if you're just gonna have the, I also forgot. I'm sorry. If you're just gonna have the message box pop up, okay, don't do what I have here set up, okay? Don't have it execute another command to go to another block of code, all right? Don't do that. Just have it the way I have it set up here, okay? Just have this stuff right here. So while dash is loaded, sleep 50 milliseconds, message box result box overlap. Actually, you could probably just take this stuff right here and just put it at the top. You don't have to have it like I do, but if you don't know what the hell you're doing, just copy what I have here, okay? And then right. So once you got this message box saying whatever it is you want to say, when the person goes to start up their Xbox 360 on your server after they connect and they show dash, after they launch in dash, okay, then the server will start up. Okay, I'm sorry. Then the message box will pop up with whatever message you want. But if you do want to have some more additional options, then you're going to need this right here. This section, this code. The handle, the thread, the execute thread again. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna delete that. I also wanted to mention too that after you so I just want you to remember how the code I want you to understand how the code reads, okay? So when the dash starts up, it's gonna run this code first, the CPU check here I have. Then it's gonna run this code next, which is the message box, your first message box. And then if you have another one, it's gonna run that second, and then 3 and 4 and 5 depending on how many you have. I couldn't imagine you having that much, but who knows? Maybe some crazy kids out there. But that is how you pretty much add a message box. It's not hard. It's pretty straightforward. Again, if you don't know half of what I'm talking to you about right now, please go back and watch Stealth Tutorial episode 3, adding games. That will explain that will explain how this process actually works. Okay. Now that we're done with that, moving on to the next thing I want to talk about. Okay, so how to connect your stealth. First off, I am going to add here something I should have added. Let's add KV setup. Okay, so I wanted to show how you properly set up your KV. Okay, so first thing you want to do after you buy your KV, sometimes it comes with a CPU key, sometimes it doesn't. All the CPU key does is it's just when it goes on when you put it on your stealth, okay, it's gonna the stealth server is supposed to spoof the CPU key, and from what I understand, is it's supposed to give you like an extra day or two of KV life. That's why they provide it for you. So there's a KV checker out there. I've got this in my folder. If you don't know where my folder is, go to Stealth Server. Oh, I don't know what it's called. But it'll say Stealth Server source files. Just click on that, go in there, and look at the folder, and find the Direct KV's open source. Just download it, and use it. It's not really that complicated. Just load the KV. As you can load the KV, and then you can check to see if it's banned or unbanned. As you can tell, this one is unbanned. Okay, I'm going to exit out of that. Okay, so I wanted to show you how to properly do the CPU key. Okay, so make sure that you have XHD installed on your computer. Okay, you're going to need that. And after you have it installed, you're going to create new. And then what you're going to do is you're going to copy and insert the CPU key here into the new HXD, and then you're gonna just save it on the desktop as CPU key bin. Alright, that's saved. And then we're gonna go to my desktop and drag it into that folder. Cut. And then all you do is just put it on the obviously you put it on the 360 HDD. Okay, while I'm thinking about it right now, sorry, my laundry just got done. Okay, so while I'm thinking about it right now, what was I gonna say? Okay, so I get a number of people that ask me, "Hey, Silent, why can I not connect my KV on using a USB?" I haven't tested it out on my server yet. I'm pretty sure it's already coded in there, but I have to check it. Honestly, I haven't checked it yet, because from what I'm trying to understand is why use a USB? Okay, USBs, trying to launch anything from a USB, especially from a 360. Okay, it's slow. It doesn't work well. Okay, your actual hard drive works way better. Okay, I really don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear how, oh, I can't afford it. That's complete crap, okay? You can go online and you can buy decent sized gigabytes for like $5 or $10. If you don't have $5 or $10, I mean, that's like cheaper. That's actually cheaper than most USBs, to be honest. $5 or $10. If you can't invest in that, I mean, either A, you're a little kid living with your parents, or B, I don't know how you're living in. I don't even understand how you got your RGH. I don't get it. I don't feel bad for anybody that can't connect via Live using their USB. But to be honest, it is possible. You can do it. To me, I just think it's a lot much easier, especially how everything is coded and set up to set the KV on your HDD drive. Using your USB makes absolutely no sense to me, especially in this day and age. The only thing you should use your USB for, to be honest, is to transfer files. That's it. Alright, and then another thing I wanted to mention while we're here on the neighborhood is, I get a lot of people that ask me, "Hey, Silent, I can't get my PC mods to work." Oh, then I usually have to ask them, are you connected through Xbox Neighborhood? And they say, "Yeah, I'm connected." Okay, well, is the little drive icon, the jtag here, is it is it set as default, like your default drive? And they're like, no, it's not. Oh, well, right click, set as Xbox 360 default, and then whenever you, and then you're connected. When you set it as default, that is telling any PC mods or anything that you use that connects to neighborhood that you're using this 360. And also, when you connect to a new 360, don't use the name, use the IP address. If you use the name, you're gonna have to basically set up a static IP address, and trust me, those are a pain in the ass. It's just a lot easier to just enter a new IP address every time. Okay, so we got that squared away. Let's see, what was the next thing? We've done the KV, CPU. Hang on a minute. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and get into this a little bit. Let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is okay. Sorry, I should have backed up a minute. We're prepping our Xbox 360 for stealth. So we're stealth prep. We got our KV setup completed. Now we're moving on to the cache. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to clear the cache, both on the XEX menu and the regular cache. I want to mention this. If you use USB to connect to Live, clear the cache on that as well. Both on the XEX menu and both on the regular cache as well. If you don't know what I mean by regular, I'll show you in a minute. And then you're going to delete all your profiles. And then you're going to reset your factory settings. Reset your connection settings is what I mean. Okay? And then you can do this before you connect to Stealth, or you can do this after. I don't necessarily recommend this, but if you have to, use a VPN and use an alternative MAC address if necessary. I've got this MAC address. I've got like a 3 or 4 minute lecture. When we get to that part, I'm gonna give some explanations that a lot of videos miss about when it comes to the MAC address. Okay, and understanding it. Okay, so we'll get to this troubleshooting here in a minute if we explain this a little bit. Okay, so let's go to our Xbox 360. Alright, and as you can see, I am banned. I can't get my cursor on there, but you can see I am banned. Let's just make sure everything's going good. Okay. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here. Storage, clear system cache, clear a cache on all your drives, everything you have, clear it all. You want all that modded, because what's in that cache is modified data. You don't want Microsoft to detect that. You want that gone. Okay, and then we're gonna go to network settings. And then configure network, and then we're going to go restore to default settings. And for those of you that don't know how to find your MAC address, it's right there. You can see it. Mine's 4822 at the end there. I'm not going to go into showing you how to set up the alternate MAC address. There are videos out there. I would be wasting my time. There's video, you can look it up. There's videos that show you how to do that. Trust me, it's more trouble than what it's worth. Want to make sure all these are set to automatic and 0. Oh, I forgot to delete. Crap. Damn it, Mike. Got to delete my profiles. Okay, don't do exactly what I do, because I'm not gonna delete these two. because I don't want to. But if you're doing this, or if you're a stealth server owner, inform your clients to delete all the profiles. Tell them to delete all the profiles that they're going to use, okay? And just to be really safe, just delete all the profiles. But Big Colt is the one I'm going to be... No, Silent Night is the one I'm going to be using. So I'm going to delete this profile. You should do delete profile. You can pretty much get away with... You should be alright if you just delete the profile only. But if you want to be safe and conservative, just delete profile and items. And that's literally everything. Look, what I'm really trying to get at here is when you clear the cache, delete these profiles and whatnot, okay, you want to delete any modified data that that Microsoft can detect on initial KV setup. Okay, so if you have modified content on your 360 and it's something that corresponds to Xbox Live somehow, Microsoft can detect that, especially if the stealth server doesn't have a spoof for it. If there's no code that spoofs the modified content, like the XEX menu and the dash launch or whatever, okay, Microsoft's going to detect that, and then you'll get flagged and you might get banned in a few days. All right, that's the whole idea of deleting half this. Well, let's just call it crap. What it is, crap off your 360 again, is to hide yourself from Microsoft. That's all I'm going to say on that. Okay, delete profile. Remember, a stealth server, when you go online, you're trying to hide yourself from Microsoft. Like I said in previous videos, you got to think about this logically, okay? How can Microsoft detect me? What is spoofed and what is not spoofed? Same goes for any... well, I don't want to say any kind of downloaded themes or music or anything like that, but yeah, that's actually the truth. All that stuff that you have downloaded, you want to back up onto a drive. Just back it up onto a drive, okay? Delete it. All right, and then after you delete it, and then after you get connected back on Xbox Live, then you can take what you have on the backup and then put it back onto the 360. Actually, to be honest, everything that you have connected to your profile, you don't even have to do that. Okay. After you delete your profile and all the items that come with it, okay, you should be able to re-download it because it's connected to your profile. Anything that you modify, like your gamer score, I guess, or a game that you might supposedly own or not own, okay, it should have already synced up to Xbox Live. So all that you should be able to download again with no problem. Anything that you use MSP spoof for, you won't be able to do that. You won't be able to re-download it. You'll have to make sure that you have that game data, saved somewhere. So don't delete the games. You don't need to do that. As far as Microsoft is concerned, if they see that game data on there, all right, they're gonna look at that and they're gonna say, oh, maybe that's just a game that belongs to somebody else. Okay. That's not going to be flagged as modified content. It's just going to be flagged as a game. It's just going to be a notification to them. It's just some kind of game on demand that you have. But since you don't have Xbox Live Gold, they're going to be like, oh, okay, well, he doesn't have it. It's he's not able to use it or something, or it belongs to some other profile. Now, if you don't, I'm going to let you know up front, if you don't delete your profile and you try to log in after reusing a KV, first off, you're most likely going to get an error, okay? 99% confident you're going to get an error. Second, you're going to also notify Microsoft that something looks fishy on your Xbox, okay? Your KV, it's going to shorten your KV life. Just I'm just throwing that out there. Okay, so all right, we cleared that. I cleared that stuff. All right. Then we're gonna go over to my games. We're gonna go XEX menu. And we're going to clear the cache on this. If there isn't any. I thought cache stored on here. Oh, you know what? That's only if you use. That's only if you use an actual. Yeah, it's going to store cache on here if you don't. If you haven't configured to use the USB for Xbox Live. Which I don't recommend, and I'm not going to support, and I'm not going to show you how to do it. I'm sure there's a method to do it, but to me, you're just wasting your time. So there's no cache on here. You don't need to worry about it. But there was a cache on here. If modified content was on here, and you're using this to connect to Xbox Live, you're going to delete that. All right, HDDD1 for me is the only thing I've used, so I'm going to delete the cache out of here, which is. It's already deleted. There's nothing in there. Okay, that's good. All right, and then the next thing you're going to do is we're going to head over to Dash Launch. Make sure, I just want to, again, this is probably repetitive for most people, but I just want to show this so everybody understands. Because I had some guy ask me today, which totally threw me off. Out of all the videos out there, they still don't seem, some people just still don't seem to get this. Okay, but you got to make sure that Xbox Live Block and Xbox Live Strong are both off. Make sure that the non-T store is enabled. What's that do? Okay, yeah, because you don't want your RGH JTAG to get synced up with the cloud storage. I wouldn't do that. To me, that's because you're trading data back and forth with that cloud, and what happens if modified data accidentally gets uploaded to that cloud? Microsoft's you can only assume that Microsoft's watching this, and if somebody says that they're not, I'd like some proof, please. Because if you just sit there and say, oh, I work for Microsoft or something, and I know this happens, okay, well, let's see your badge, buddy. Or if you just say, oh, this is what happens, okay, well, and I heard it from somebody, okay, well, do they have any proof that this is what happens? The rest of us you don't need to worry about. This is like the minimum what you need to do. Okay, and then the plugins. I'm not gonna cover this. Okay, so just the basic here. You want the XBDM XEX as plugin 1. Okay, that plugin right there. What that's gonna do is that plugin is what is actually allowing your 360 to communicate with Xbox Neighborhood. That's why pretty much every stealth server out there uses XBDM XEX to connect the stealth server to connect your 360 to the stealth server. I have not researched that fully, but that's how I understand it. Okay, and then of course the second plugin, how this is all coded, is going to be your stealth source. I want to explain something about these plugins here. Okay, when I first did this, I was kind of curious. I don't understand why do I have to have the order like this? Why does plugin 1 have to be XBDM? Second plugin, why does it have to be stealth? And then plugin 3, why does it have to be, if I want to use my own, say, Notify, why does it have to be plugin 3? I think it has to be plugin 3. Yeah, why does it have to be plugin 3? And then as I've been coding through this over the last year, it just dawned on me the other day. Because when this menu was originally made, okay, it was designed to do this. Okay, they coded it to perform this way. For whatever reason, the original designers of this, they didn't make it so it wouldn't matter where the plugin was at, which I really, really don't understand, but whatever. I didn't make it. You can ask them. Just in case anyone's curious. Remember, it's the plugins. The way they want the plugins set up is because it's coded this way. They don't have it coded so you can put the plugin wherever you want. Now the 3, 4, and 5. These are going to be your 3, 4, and 5. These are going to be all your PC mods and your mod menus as well, in case anybody's curious and they don't know. All right, and then after that, you're going to go over here. By the way, if anybody doesn't understand, I'm using RB to go over, and then you're going to press X to save the settings. All right, that's all you need to do. After you save the settings, okay, it's gonna be saved on launch INI onto your 360 360's hard drive. If you have a USB, you're gonna save it onto your USB. So if I was using USB 0, I'm gonna save the launch settings onto the USB 0 or 1, 2, or whatever you're using. All right, now I wanted to explain something here about the launch INI. Okay, I get a lot of people. Hang on a minute. I get a lot of people that complain to me. I guess we're getting into troubleshooting here a little bit, but I get a lot of people that complain to me. Oh, I can't connect to your stealth server, Silent. Oh, and when I start asking them, some of the basic questions to help diagnose the problem, one of the things I ask them is, are you using a USB and HDD? Are you using both of those? And they say yes, and I ask them, okay, do you have 2 launch INIs on both of them? And they say yes, and I'm like, okay, well, there's your problem. Okay, most stealth servers are not coded. I don't want to say correctly or properly, but they're not coded to recognize. It's actually more of the 360, but yeah, actually it's more of your 360. But most stealth servers are not coded to recognize either or. If there's launch settings on both of those drives, okay, because you got to remember the USB, it's still a drive. It's just like an HDD, except it's just you're hooking up externally. It's gonna confuse the stealth server XEX. It's gonna confuse that, and so when you try to go to boot up your 360 and connect to Xbox Live, it's not even gonna attempt to connect. It's just gonna shut off on you. That's all it's gonna do. It's gonna shut off. You're not gonna be able to do anything. So, I mean, again, before you go into whatever stealth service you're using and you start complaining to the owners that I can't connect and it's because of their stealth, okay, make sure you go through this list of stuff that I'm talking about. Make sure and check that you've done all these properly, because if you haven't, they're going to ask you this stuff. They're going to ask you, and if you tell them that, no, I've got 2 launch settings, they're going to basically say, okay, well, this is on you. This is your fault. Don't know what to tell you, So it's too bad, so sad. Don't blame the KV life on the stealth server. I 80% confident that most of the time it is you, not the stealth server. Okay. What else was I going to talk about? Okay, that was about it for that. Okay, so we're all set up and stuff, right? Okay, and what I'm going to be connecting to. Pop this up here. I got this little test server here. I'm going to be connecting to it. Okay, and we're going to see what happens here. How I usually like to connect is I usually like to restart it from the neighborhood. So just I'm sure you are. For anybody that's new out there, just so you know, every time you put on a new KV, okay, it's gonna, the way that the Xbox 360 settings are set up with your IP, okay, is it's gonna give you a new IP, okay. So with your router, most of these modders I know have a router, and if you don't, I really don't understand why you own an RGH or a jtag. That you pretty much need a PC to do a lot of the modding anyway. Alright, so I'm going to actually have to set this up again. Okay, so how I set up the neighborhood prior, Okay, I'm going to have to enter a new IP address and set this to default again. After I connect to Xbox Live with a fresh new KV. All right, I'm sorry. I also forgot to mention. Okay, if do not whatever you do, people, do not mix KVs with stealth servers. Okay, when you put a KV on a stealth on your Xbox 360, RGH or JTAG, and you use a stealth server, use it until the KV's life ends, please. I don't know how many times I see people come on and say, "Oh, I got banned in a day or two," and I ask them, "Okay, well, have you been using other stealth servers prior?" And they say yes. I'm like, "Okay, well, that's your fault." Okay, you're mixing data. You're mixing modified content. You got to remember, you're taking. It's basically like this. Okay, I put on a cloak, right? A stealth server cloak, and I'm hiding from people from Microsoft with my cloak on, right? Okay, and then I decide to take that stealth server off and throw on another cloak. Okay, Microsoft's gonna look at that and they're gonna be like, that looks suspicious. Okay, that's basically what it's like. So, what was I gonna say? Only use 1 kV. Use 1 kV per stealth server. Okay. Trust me, if you don't, you're gonna get banned a lot quicker. I think that was it. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and reboot here. Let's just see what happens. This might not work because I am using a lot of internet and my internet is spread out with a lot of devices. So let's just hope we can get this to work here. I want to pull up the listener and we're going to see what's going on here, okay? We're just going to see how this is working. Cold reboot. Should be working. Oh, by the way, when you reboot the 360, it's gonna reboot once and maybe twice, depending on the stealth server, depending on how it's coded. Okay, that doesn't seem to. Alright, you know what? I'm just gonna do it this way. Oh, that's why it's not working, because I reset the IP settings. My bad. Okay. And now it's launching. Let's just pull this up and see what happens here. It's gonna turn off and restart again. Make sure that it's still on. Yep. Should restart. Okay. Now it's connecting. Let's just see what happens here. Here's the 360. Here's the stealth server source. Okay, and now it's just stuck on the 360. Alright, let's do... I'm doing a lot of this on purpose, so I can just try to work through the troubleshoot here with you. Okay, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to manually bypass the plugins here. I'm going to do the eject method. Alright, give me a minute here. Okay, and I'm back. Now, I'm sorry to people that if this video is longer than you thought. The lot of reason I'm doing this is to be in depth about it. Okay, so I wanted to what was I wanted to talk about here? Okay, so the thing is, the reason I had you reset, what I should have done when I after I reset my factory settings is I should have actually disconnected from my network and reconnected to my network. Now, you've got a couple options. When I say use a VPN, you can either use a VPN connected via your computer, or you can set it up on your router. I've got mine set up on my router. There are videos online that show you how to do this. I'm not going to go into it, okay, because I'd just be wasting my time. Okay, so if you don't do that, you forget to do that, don't panic. Whatever you do, do not do anything to connect to Xbox Live. Just reboot it, okay? Just using the eject method. If the eject method doesn't work, take your USB drive, put a blank launch INI on it, okay? Plug it into your 360, all right, and then launch it, and then the 360 will bypass your plugins. All right, and then I'm going to go over here, network settings. Okay, see, it's not even showing up. Let's scan again. I don't know if I'm going to use the VPN. I won't use the VPN. Okay, select silent. See, basically what I'm doing here, everything I'm doing is I'm basically refreshing everything. Refreshing the connection, refreshing the profiles, refreshing the MAC address, refreshing the IP. It corresponds to how stealth servers work naturally, okay? Stealth servers spoof your retail, okay? How do I put this in words so everybody can understand clearly? When you connect to Xbox, when a stealth server connects to Xbox Live, okay, they are you're basically telling Microsoft, hey, this is a retail console, okay? So when you refresh everything on your 360 on your end, you're telling Microsoft, yeah, I'm a retail console, okay? And then the stealth server's job is going to tell you, it's going to tell Microsoft, yeah, this is a retail console. I mean, look, it's got a new IP, new MAC address, and everything. All these other YouTube videos, they don't show you this shit. They don't show you this crap. And I've learned through trial and error and stuff. Now what you want to do is when it gets to the internet, when it says it's connected to the internet, hit stop test because you don't want it to connect to Xbox Live. A better method I usually like to do is, if I can do it, is I just like to use the PC connection, because that way I know it's connected to my internet and it's not or you can do this too, I guess. Yeah, because it just connects to the internet and not connecting to Xbox Live. If I enter my password correctly. I didn't. Okay, let's hit back. Alright, here we go. PC connection. Don't worry if it doesn't say it's not connected to your PC. That's fine. All you want it to do is you want it to say that's, well, see, I entered the wrong password. My bad. Okay. Shit. Apologize about that. Thought I had this correct. Okay. Test PC connection. This should work. I'm sure this is the right password. There we go. And I'm connected. I am connected to my network. Okay, now that you're connected to your network, now you can restart your console. And this, after this time, it should attempt to connect to my stealth server. Let's find out if this works. This usually works. Okay. Sure, I got this correctly. Alright. Cross our fingers and hope to die. There we go. It's connecting right here. Boom. And we're connected. Boom. Welcome to Sign Out Live. Look at that. Look how easy I did that. It took me, I mean, technically this only takes me like 5 or 10 minutes. Only 5 or 10 minutes to do. I didn't have to restart my console, my router, nothing. Look how easy I did that. All these people online I see constantly struggling, and all this it's not like there's misinformation out there. Okay, I just want to show you guys how this works in depth. Okay, so and then after that, all you have to do is just don't sign into any profiles. Just click skip sign in. All right, and then just re-download your profile again. See, unbanned. Just re-download the profile, and then sign in, and that's it. You're done. Now, let's talk about a few things now. Okay, so I want to talk about some troubleshooting here. Okay, so the main issue is if you get stuck on the logo screen, okay, and you are connected to your internet, and you didn't follow this, and even if you follow the steps that I did, okay, and you're still not getting through, I want to show you something here. Okay, so when this in your 360 connects to your to the stealth, it's gonna pop up here first. So and so's CPU key has successfully added to the database or been authenticated or something, and then it's gonna go to this next, and it's gonna say connected successfully, and then it's gonna stop like right here. It's not gonna give you especially if for those of you that are using new to stealth servers and you're wanting to make one. Okay, it's gonna stop right here. It's not going to give you the notification that Xbox Online supervisor challenges have passed. Okay, so I'm going to backtrack here a little bit. If your stealth server is not configured right and nobody's connecting, that's your fault. You need to fix your stealth server. If people are connecting, other people are connecting, and it's working, okay, then it's the person's connection. It's their not their 360, but it's their connection, okay. So what I normally tell people to do is reset your router first, okay. If resetting your router, reset the factory settings like we did earlier when I initially did my stealth prep, okay. If after they reset the router doesn't work, okay, then you're gonna tell them, okay, well then you need to either do a static IP, okay, you need to set up a static IP, or you need to open your port, do static IP, open your ports to Xbox 360, all right, or if that doesn't work, then the last case scenario before you have to wait a day is you need to use a VPN. And actually, I should have mentioned this first. Okay, when you reset your router and internet and that doesn't work, unplug your modem and plug it back in. Do that first, because you want to what you're trying to do here is reset your IP address. Okay, you're trying to refresh your IP, your ports, everything your 360 uses to connect to Xbox Live. Okay, so you can mask yourself when connecting to Xbox Live. Reset all that stuff. All right, and because you're trying to connect with a different MAC address, a different IPv4 LAN address as well. You want a different LAN address. You don't want to use the same one. You want the MAC address to be different. You don't want to use the same one. Okay? None of that works. Your last hope is to use a VPN. Set up a VPN server or connect to one, whatever, and use it to connect your 360. I would have to say most of the time that usually works for me. Okay? And if that doesn't work for you, if that doesn't work and you followed all these steps, okay, then you're going to have to wait a day. You're going to have to at least wait like 24 hours, because that's when, I don't know how to explain this. This is kind of hard to explain, but that's usually 24, 48 hours. That's usually when your like your MAC address on your console is it's gonna like change. I don't think that's quite right. But I don't exactly remember what happens after 24 hours, but everything just refreshes for you anyway. So just wait a day or two. Then you should be able to connect back online. The reason I say that, the reason I firmly believe that your MAC address resets is because your MAC address is assigned to anything that's a computer. Your cell phones, your tablets, your PCs, your consoles, they all pretty much have a MAC address. If anybody wants to debate me about the cell phones and the tablets, please. I really would like to know, because the MAC address, what that does is, especially for people that use a router, is okay. So say somebody, say you receive an incoming connection from Microsoft, right? The data that's transferred to your router, okay, your router's gonna send that to your assigned IP. Okay, well, when it gets to your assigned IP, your computer or your gaming console or cell phone or tablet or whatever, your tablet's gotta be able to tell that data where to go. Like every application we use on the computer that's connected to the internet has a MAC address. The MAC address is specifically designed for those of you that don't know, okay, to tell your device, it's like a map for your device to tell your device where to send data to. So if you're connected to Xbox 360 and RGH and jtag and you connect to stealth server and your MAC address is not reset, now I want to get into this part. Okay, let me back up here, man. Okay, so this part right here, nobody hardly talks about. Okay, they talk about the IP, the cache, delete profiles, okay, KV setup, all that crap. It's all in Surface, but the MAC address I rarely ever see. Hang on a minute. Make sure we're okay. So what you need to understand about the MAC address, okay, is if you're using it to connect Xbox Live, and you don't change it, that's gonna be Xbox Live is gonna it's not gonna work, okay? Because Xbox Live is gonna see that MAC address, and they're gonna say, "Whoa, wait a minute, what's going on here? This is not right. This doesn't work with the new information that I'm receiving. The person with this MAC address is supposed to be banned." Is basically what they're gonna see. It's gonna send them red flags and then get you banned. Other than the red flags, it's also going to cause you issues that won't allow you to connect. So most of the time, when people try to connect to Xbox Live and they get stuck on the Xbox logo menu and they get stuck right here. They're connected because this means right here. So what this means is, let me show you real quick. What this means is, okay, successfully added or connected to the database. That means they initially connected, and then the next piece of it on your listener, when it says connected successfully, that means it's connected to the stall server successfully. But they're still stuck on the Xbox logo menu. The next piece of it, okay, this is the piece that says, okay, now you're connected to Xbox Live. Okay, every time you try to send data to Xbox Live, you're on your listener, you're going to see this. You're always going to see this notification, because it's exchanging the challenges and responses back and forth. But when you're stuck on Xbox Live logo, most of the time you're going to be stuck right here. It's nothing to do with the stall server. It's something that you're not doing on your end to connect successfully to Xbox Live. And most of the time, the reason that is because of the MAC address. Okay? If you don't reset the MAC address, which a lot of people don't do, all right, or they have to wait several hours before their MAC address gets reset automatically, then they're able to connect to Xbox Live. But if you don't initially do that with a new KV, okay, if you don't get that reset, you're gonna get those errors. You're gonna get errors. You're gonna get stuck on the Xbox Live logo menu. Now, for those of you out there that might comment and say, "Oh, well, I didn't reset it, and I'm able to get on every time," you may be using a stall server that spoofs your MAC address, that just changes it for you. I've never heard of it, but it might happen. But trust me, if you don't have some kind of source or something set up that resets that MAC address when you initially put on a new KV, especially after you get KV banned that same day, okay, you're gonna run into that problem. You're not gonna be able to connect to Xbox Live. You're just gonna get stuck on the Xbox logo menu. Then you're gonna go to the Discord chat, and you're gonna probably talk to some owner like me and tell me, "Oh, I can't connect. What do I do?" And then when I diagnose it and I go through this list with you, and you tell me, "Oh, yeah, I forgot to do that," well, then I'm gonna say that's your problem. There's your problem. Another thing you need to understand too is when you constantly try to connect to the Xbox Live server, stall server, okay, you're gonna send what they call an unhandled exception, okay, to Xbox Live. Not to Xbox Live. Unhandled exception to the stall server. All right, and then before you know it, it's gonna screw up the listener. The listener. Most of them are designed to when they get an unhandled exception, like bad packets from the connection, bad connection from a person's RGH or whatever. Okay, it's gonna restart and it's gonna restart and it's gonna restart, or you're gonna see something that says max packet sized reached error or something. I saw that on a couple of the listeners, but most of them are designed to restart. And when you send all those bad packets, what that's going to do is it's going to screw up the listener for everybody. So I've had people that connect to my server before, and they keep trying to connect to it so much, those bad packets, to put it briefly, it pretty much causes the listener to crash, is what it does. And then every time somebody tries to connect to my listener, it's not going to work. And then I have to restart the whole stealth server so people can reconnect to it. Okay, so the reason I'm mentioning this is because anybody out there that's watching my tutorials, when you see an unhandled exception when somebody tries to connect, or if you see max packet reached or invalid buffer or some crap like that, okay, that's usually the problem. Somebody's trying to connect to your stealth server and they're not doing it right. They're not doing it correctly. Okay? And especially if you don't have your stealth server programmed to either connect to different IPs or different port numbers, and you only have one listener like I do, okay, you're going to run into those problems. So how to fix those problems? You're going to need to track down the person that has that CPU key and talk to them. First off, okay? Second, you're just basically going to have to restart your stealth server. Okay? That's all you got to do. It doesn't take that long. Not the stealth server. Your whole VPS. Sorry. You have to restart the whole VPS. All right? If that will work. Okay? That will refresh everything. And if that person's still having problems, well, I've never seen anybody still having problems, to be honest. If they do, I guess please come to me and I can look at it and see what's going on. But yeah, I just wanted to give an in-depth look at how all this works, because I just am getting tired of seeing people that don't have a clue, and they keep asking me about it, and this shit is so basic. I guess that's probably why half the reason I'm doing these tutorials, because nobody else wants to cover this crap. Well, you're welcome. You actually have somebody that's covering this stuff. And this is these typical connection issues that you have with the stealth server. This is pretty much for any kind of game server that you use out there. If you have a connection issue between the client and the server, okay, there's usually something wrong with the connection. Usually, when there's a problem between the client, the 360, and the server, the stealth server. Okay, when there's a problem between those two, that's usually because there's something wrong with the coding on your server. So when you go to build the listener or whatever, or the client, which would be the stealth source, the stealth XEX, there's usually something wrong with your code. But all the other stuff that that's trying to connect to Xbox Live has nothing to do with your stealth server. Okay, as long as you can see that your clients are connected like this, and it keeps sending you messages that they're connected, but they're stuck in the Xbox logo, okay, that means they're connected to your server. They're just not connected to Xbox Live. Trust me, you don't need to restart anything. That's on them. You'll need to like get with them and go through it and see what they're doing wrong. And for anybody that is just trying to connect to Xbox Live stealth server and watching this, please go through my method, okay? It is very, very flawless. I'm not going to sit here and say that's 100% perfect, but I feel like it's like I'm 90% confident that it usually works most of the time. The latter half of it that doesn't work, it's just very, very small, okay? Usually that happens with either an old RGH or jtag that's really, really old, or brick council. Okay, and when I say like an RGH or jtag that's old, that usually means that the spoof codes for it are not encoded into your into the stealth server. Okay, if the codes for it are not coded into the stealth server, I'd have to show you this, but I'm just mentioning it. Okay, it's their 360 is not going to connect to your stealth. Actually, it won't connect. It really probably won't connect at all, to be honest. It's just going to be stuck on the logo, or it's just going to shut off, on and off, on and off. I think that's usually how that works. Yeah. Speaking of which, while we're on that subject, why it goes on and off, okay, that usually means that you didn't refresh your IPs correctly. Okay, if you don't reset your factory settings, reconnect to your internet or VPN or whatever you're using, and you're able to connect to the stall server, but you're like when you go to restart the 360 and it restarts, but for whatever reason you accidentally like turn it off in the middle of restarting it, or if you're just one of those guys girls, guys that are impatient with it, and you're stuck on the 360 logo and you're not giving it a few minutes to actually connect to the stall server to pop up the dash launch, okay, and you shut it off and you turn it back on, and then it just goes into that mode of restarting over and over again, okay, that's on you, okay. That's because first off, you didn't refresh the IP and the restore and the MAC address properly, okay, and then reconnect it to your stuff. And then second, that's because you're not patient enough to wait for the stall server to actually connect there. And how do I know all this is happening? Because I'm watching it. I'm watching it right here on the listener. I had this one guy connect to my stealth, my what do I call it? My beta, a test stealth the other day, you know? And every time the guy connected, it just kept saying free mode, this CPU key authenticated. I can't say shit right now. Successfully authenticated to the server, and then it wouldn't even say connected to the stealth. It would go to the next. It would just keep saying successfully authenticated. Authenticated. How do I say that? Okay, you know what? It just kept repeating the same yellow message over and over and over and over and over again. Okay. When I saw that, that means that the person just what he was doing is he's turning on the 360. It would pop up with the logo, and for whatever reason he just lost patience with it, and then would turn it off and then turn it back on, turn his 360 on and then turn it back on. Why he was doing that, I don't know. I can only assume what's going on in some people's mind, but to me that usually means it's just somebody that's that's new to the hacking scene. Okay, people, please, you gotta have patience when you're initially connecting to someone's stealth. Okay, if it doesn't boot up right away, give it a few minutes. For the love of God, these machines are still old. Okay, it still needs time to communicate. I understand it's not like regular 360 back in the day, or your retail 360 or your Xbox One, where it just boots up and connects right away. Okay, you got to remember that it's when it's connecting to the stall server, it's working towards connecting to the stall server. Okay. I really hope my examples and some experience that I'm sharing with you today helps you out with your getting your 360 connected to a stall server, and for stall server owners that are new and they are having issues and they need to troubleshoot people. Okay, I really hope that this helps you out and helps you better understand, what's actually going on when somebody tries to connect to your stall server. And if you don't believe me, that's fine. Just watch it. Just connect your 360 and make a couple of noob mistakes, a newbie mistake or here or there, and see what happens. See how it rolls. Okay. See what goes on. Do the trial and error. You can learn from your own experiences. But trust me, as I demonstrated here when I connected my new RGH, my new KV. Okay. this is the stuff that typically happens. Okay, somebody that's when you have somebody that's impatient, and they are on the 360 logo and they don't give it at least like a couple minutes to connect to Xbox, to connect to your Stealth, then to the Xbox Live. They're gonna turn it off, turn it back on. You're just gonna keep seeing that yellow message. That's what that means, or whatever the color of the message it is. I can't speak for all Stealth server. I'm sorry, all listeners, but if you're familiar with the listener, or you get, after you get familiar with it, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. Okay. You keep seeing the same message authenticated to the Stealth server over and over again. That means that they're turning the Xbox on and off, on and off, on and off. Okay. And then the other one was, okay, because I'm reviewing what I've talked about for the last 20 minutes. Okay. The other one is if you look at your Stealth source, your listener source, and it says they're connected, and they keep saying that they're connected, but you don't see any Xbox Online Supervisor challenge passed, and then they tell you that they put on a new KV. Okay. 9 times out of 10, that's going to be something that they did wrong. Then you're going to want to go through this checklist that I provided here, this closing prep, along with this. Oh, you can ignore the troubleshooting. This closing prep that I provided here. Go through it with them. Ask them these questions, okay? And when you get to one of them where they said that they didn't do such and such right, okay? They didn't do it. Then you're gonna tell them, okay, you need to do this, so then you can connect to the Stealth. And then if you go through this list here, this prep list, and they did all of it, or they missed one and they went back and did it and they still can't connect, then you can go into this troubleshooting list here I have. Okay, first thing I tell them to do: unplug the modem, reset the router, reset the IP, new fresh IP. That's what you want. That doesn't work, go to the VPN. You tell them to use the VPN next, because then the VPN will give them a whole new refresh IP, and it'll change the MAC address as well. Every time you connect using a new IP address on either if it's IPv4 or IPv6. By the way, if you don't know what either one of those are, please Google them and research them. Those are highly important that you need to know when you're dealing with any kind of internet connection. It doesn't matter what kind of game or game server or whatever you're using. You need to know what those are. Just if you don't know what those are, I don't even know why you're here, to be honest. So when you use a VPN or connect to a new IP, okay, that new IP is going to do is it's going to refresh the MAC address for you on the 360. It's going to restart it for you. That's why I have people. I'm saying here to people to reset factory settings. Clears everything. Okay, after you reset the factory settings and then reconnect to reconnect to your reconnect to your. I'm losing train of thought. Reconnect to your router. Okay, after you reconnect to it, all right. It's going to give you a new. It should assign you a new IP. And if that doesn't work, the alternatives is VPN and static. I should put that here. Be a static IP. And trust me, the VPN is somewhat difficult, but not too bad. But the alternate static IP and reset and using an alternate MAC address, that shit is a pain in the ass. Trust me. I would rather not use it. I'd rather you not use it. Alright. I think we still going? Okay, we're still rolling here. I think that's about much covers it. Okay, so yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to comment in this comment section. Again, if they're not constructive feedback, any hater messages, I will delete them right away. I just have zero tolerance for it. I don't owe you any explanation for this half the stuff I got on here. If you think I'm stealing something from you or whatever, well, that's your problem. I have no obligation to explain myself to you. Alright, but for the people that aren't haters and do like my channel, if you want to subscribe, feel free to. I don't really care. I'm not here for money. I'm not here for fame. I'm just here to help out my fellow man. But for everybody that are liking these, go ahead and give me a like or two. And I really, really hope this helps you out. Alright, until next time, I might come out with another video in the next few weeks, or I might not. But anyway, until next time, I'll see you guys then. Alright, peace.